event under the ambit of ULAP's Vida ang Lokal Forum, which was designed to deepen the collaboration between local government units and the national government agencies towards speeding up LGU preparations for vaccine deployment against the COVID-19 pandemic. Today's forum is the sixth in this continuing consultation with LGUs as a knowledge sharing and capacity enhancement platform for LGUs on health promotion and the implementation of the National Vaccine Deployment Program. Bidang Lokal Forum is hosting this time the briefing on Gamaleya Research Institute's Sputnik V or Sputnik 5. But before we proceed any further, let me acknowledge the presence of local chief executives and other local government officials and health functionaries from the four corners of the country. And of course, we have with us the different member leagues of the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines represented in the National Executive Board by the following officers. Yours truly, Dax Kua as ULAP National President and League of Provinces Chair. I'd like to recognize as well the League of Provinces of the Philippines President and National Chairman of ULAP, Governor PresLGU Velasco. The League of Cities President, Mayor Bing Leonardia. The League of Cities Chairperson, Mayor Ed Labella. The League of Municipalities Chairperson, the League of Municipalities of the Philippines President, Mayor Luis Chavit Singson. The League of Municipalities Vice President, Mayor Tess Constantino. The Liga ng mga Barangay President, Councilor Eden Pineda. The Liga ng mga Barangay SecGen, Councilor George Bocobo. The League of Vice Governors of the Philippines President, Vice Governor Karen Agapay. The League of Vice Governors of the Philippines Chairperson, Vice Governor Reynaldo Quimpo. The Vice Mayors League of the Philippines President, Vice Mayor Joy Mejia. The Vice Mayors of the League of the Philippines Executive Vice President, Vice Mayor Democrito Diamante. The Philippine Board Members League President, Board Member Ferdy Labung. The Philippine Board Members League Chairperson, Board Member Mirna Romarate. The Philippine Councilors League Chairperson, Councilor Danny Dayanghirang. The Philippine Councilors League President, Councilor Jose Tata Sala. The National Movement for Young Legislators Chairperson, Vice Governor Ramon Jolo Revilla III. And the National Movement of Young Legislators President, Councilor Lady Julie Grace Baronda. The 4L President, Board Member Nena Atamosa, and the 4L Executive Vice President, Councilor Stephanie Tex. May I please remind everyone of our House rules as flashed on the screen. Please keep our microphones on mute. Otherwise, please send your messages through the chat box during the open forum, which comes after the presentation about the vaccine. Kindly raise your hand if you wish to be recognized before you speak. And so without further ado, before going to our speaker, may I have a few minutes to also recognize the other governors and mayors present. We have Governor Petilla is here with us. Governor Steve Solon is with us. Governor Arthur Defensor is with us. Governor Arthur Yap of Bohol. Governor Rodora Katia.
Gov, nakamute po.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Okay. Can we begin now? Jeff, where did I leave off, please?
Acknowledging, sir, the governors.
Okay, let me repeat. Acknowledgement of our dear governors. We have Governors Leo Petilla, we have Governor Steve Salon, we have Governor Arthur Defensor, Governor Arthur Yap, Governor Rodora Cadiao, Governor Nancy Catamco, and Governor Susan Yap. We likewise have Mayors Delio Lood, Mayor Luz Ponferrada, Mayor Joel Alejandro, Mayor Arnan Panaligan, and Mayor Nicolas Yulo. Welcome, sirs and madams. To all the representatives of the different LGUs, their teams, their health officers, welcome po. And so without further ado, to give her preliminary statement and to introduce to us the team from the Russia Direct Investment Fund, or RDIF, which is the principal sponsor behind the vaccine. Let us now welcome the Honorable Madam Olivia Limpeao, the Special Envoy of the Philippine President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to the Russian Federation, and as a private citizen, the President of the Philippine Archipelago International Trading Corporation. Olive, you have the floor. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Governor Dax Kua. Thank you for giving this opportunity for us to introduce Gamaleya Sputnik V vaccine as distributed worldwide by the Russian Direct Investment Fund. So we are the emergency use authorization holder for this vaccine. And with us today is the Russian Direct Investment Fund, our executives who will be giving a presentation on the Sputnik V vaccine. So may I introduce the members of the RDIF, as the acronym for Russian Direct Investment Fund. So we have with us Mr. Fedor Susov. He's the Senior Vice President of RDIF. With his team is Mr. Sergey Kozhin. He's the Vice President and he's the person responsible for the Philippines. And we also have Mr. Vladimir Primark. Vladimir is the Director for Sales. So anything about sales and distribution to the Philippines is under his responsibility. So we have the three gentlemen with us. And for our company, we have also with us Mr. Aaron Limpeao. So if you wish to coordinate
Olivia, you're on mute.
I'm on mute. Sorry. Okay. So you did get the whole thing I was saying, right? So I have to start from the very beginning.
No, only the last 10 seconds.
Okay, yeah. The last sentence. Okay. So who will be doing the presentation? Vladimir, that's you, right?
I guess I will do the presentation. I will introduce our team, and then I will pass to my colleagues to answer the questions.
Okay. So we're very happy to have this opportunity to introduce our Sputnik V vaccine to all the governors, mayors, vice mayors of the Republic of the Philippines. Thank you very much for this honor that you have given us. So Vladimir, you can take the floor.
Yes, thank you very much, Olivia. Dear colleagues, dear governors, dear representatives of the regions, we are proud to represent Russia Direct Investment Fund, which is a sovereign fund of Russia. We exist for the last 10 years, and we already invested about $40 billion in around 100 different projects globally. We have different projects not only in Russia, but also in Europe, in the United States, in the Middle East, and in China. In the normal circumstances, we work in a similar fashion as other sovereign funds, like Temasek or GIC in Singapore, or Khazanah in Malaysia, for example, and so on. But over the last 12 months, we refocused our attention to the projects against coronavirus. So we started to invest in the projects which can resolve the problem. We successfully invested into PCR solutions. We successfully invested in the drug against coronavirus last year. That all happened last March. a year ago. Avifavir, or favipiravir, is actually a drug which we started to produce and sell in Russia and globally in last summer. And we became the exclusive partner of Gamaleya Institute, which is a research institute in Russia, existing for more than 130 years. And this research institute is working on vaccines for a very long time. They successfully started the creation of the Sputnik vaccine in the beginning of last year, and we joined forces with them in the first half of the year to finance, to do the trials, to arrange manufacturing, and to arrange the sales and the distribution and registration globally. So let me show the screen and present brief information about the vaccine. I hope you can see my screen. Just a second. So we are proud to introduce Sputnik vaccine, which is called Sputnik like the first satellite in the world because it was the first registered in the world. So in Russia, it was registered on the 11th of August last year. It looks as it is shown on the first page. There are 2 injections. They're color-coded, and they're consumed 21 days from one another. And the uniqueness is that the 2 injections are different, and that's why the immune response is the most optimal, the longest and the strongest of the many others. The vaccine is optimal combination of safety and efficacy and efficiency. And safety is ensured by the utilization of human adenoviral vector platform, which is known to the science for many decades. And effectiveness or efficacy have been confirmed in the 3rd phase of clinical trials. It is above 90%, and there are only 3 vaccines globally which have efficacy above 90%. It is Pfizer, Moderna, and Sputnik. But among those most efficient vaccines globally, Sputnik is the cheapest one. So the price of it is actually several times lower than Pfizer and Moderna. The storage condition for Sputnik is also quite convenient. It could be -18, -20 for half a year, 6 months, or it could be in +2, +8 degrees for up to 2 months. The vaccine has already been proven for the efficacy not only for the general population, but also for the elderly population. So 1/6 of all the people who were participating in trials were above 60-year-old. And the efficacy among them was also 91.8%, so even higher than on average. And efficacy against severe cases is 100%. So no one has got, very few people who got sick got any hard disease. The safety of the platform is ensured by the lots of years of studies. The platform is known since 1950s. More than 10 million people globally have used different similar type of vaccines, adenoviral vaccines, adenoviral vector vaccines. And previously, different other vaccines have been invented on the same platform. More than 100,000 people received treatments of drugs with the same platform. Respectively, the approach is quite unique because it uses 2 different human adenoviral vectors, which lead to the long-lasting immunity, which can last around 2 years. The interest to the vaccine globally is very high. In fact, more than 55 countries already have approved the vaccine and provided emergency use authorization. And we are very thankful to Philippines for providing emergency use authorizations recently. And we are very proud to present the vaccine Sputnik to the portfolio of vaccines in Philippines. We believe it definitely deserves to be represented in portfolio, considering its qualities and considering the very good results that we have not only in Russia, but in the other countries after millions of doses being used for vaccination. The product is a collaboration effort between Gamaleya Center and Russia Direct Investment Fund. As I mentioned, Gamaleya is a national research center, exists more than 130 years. They previously successfully created vaccine against Ebola virus and a vaccine against Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome virus. And these 2 viruses are even more dangerous, and the vaccines against them were also based on the same platform. So that is why this Sputnik vaccine did not appear out of the blue. It actually was created on the basis of very serious research. Our Russia Direct Investment Fund has an exclusive license on cell manufacturing, and we're manufacturing not only in Russia, but also started manufacturing in the other countries, including South Korea and India. But the first supplies will be from Russia because Russian 7 plants are actually producing most of the volumes at the moment. And that's what has been registered in the Philippines as well. We have created the website, sputnikvaccine.com, which we highly recommend with all the updates on the vaccine. Again, the vaccine is a result of many years of studies. This platform has been under research by Gamaleya Institute for many years, and in 2014, on the basis of that platform, they created Ebola virus vaccine, and in 2018, Middle East respiratory virus vaccine. They completed the first and second phases of clinical trials in August last year, the registration happened on the 11th of August last year, of course, under emergency rule. The third phase of clinical trials launched in the beginning of September, and right now we completed the second interim report of the third phase of clinical trials. The results were published in Lancet Journal 2 weeks ago. The results were very good. Safety, efficacy, and immunogenicity confirmed on very good levels. We have good references from scientific community globally, including some professors mentioned here from Israel, China, United States, United Kingdom, and France. And I want to emphasize again the combination of safety and efficacy. Safety is due to the vector utilization. So firstly, it's human adenoviruses, which is the adenoviruses coexisting with humans for thousands of years, which cause just a regular cold. That's not very dangerous. At the same time, the vectors are part of RNA of the viruses. The vectors are part of the RNA of the viruses, which cannot multiply, they cannot replicate, that's why they cannot harm the body. But at the same time, it leads to the production of antibodies and T lymphocytes and lead to the long-term immunity, because it brings the genetic information about the virus without replicating. The Gamaleya Center has invented the prime boost vaccination regimen with 2 different vector serotypes, which is unique. There are no other vaccines which use the same. And that has a clear advantage over one vector approaches, because after the first injection, the second injection, if used with the same vector, would be less efficient because of the pre-existing immunity at the first. So because we use 2 different vectors, the effect is strong and longer. The result is production of T lymphocytes, T helpers and T killers, which lead to the long-lasting immune response. Again, vectors is being used, as I mentioned, part of RNA of the virus, which is brings genetic information without replication, and that's why safe but efficient. Firstly, the injection is done with the adenoviral vector of the human, number 26, and that leads to the immunity for the short run period for up to 6 months. However, to make it long-lasting, the second injection with adenoviral vector number 5 is done in 21 days, and that leads to the long-lasting immunity for up to 2 years. Approach is slightly different from the other producers of vector vaccines. So firstly, Oxford AstraZeneca is also using vectors, but they're using chimpanzee adenovirus. They use not the human adenoviral vectors, but chimpanzee or monkey adenoviruses, which has not been under research for many years. And that's why might need more research, and effectively the efficacy levels are lower. So the efficacy levels of Oxford AstraZeneca improved at around 63%, comparing to almost 92 with Sputnik. Besides, they have first and second injection of the same component, and that may be reflected on the lower efficacies. Johnson & Johnson is using also adenoviral vector number 26 of the human being, which is the same as the first injection from our side. But when it is used only with one injection, this is only short-run immunity for a few months. If they use 2 injections, then the second is less efficient because of the first pre-existing immunity. So usage of 2 different ones lead to the optimal immune response, and that is why Gamaleya has invented it following many years of research, and the result is incredible. So 2 ways of immunization lead to the long-lasting immune response. The results have been proven in clinical studies. So clinical trials have been done on animals firstly, mice, hamsters, and macaques. And the vaccine have produced very good results, very robust humoral and cellular immune response. 100% of animals were protected, and there were no observed drug events. Phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials followed with people about between 18 and 60-year-olds. The results also were very good, very strong humoral cellular immune response with practically no significant side effects. In 80% of cases, there were no side effects at all. In up to 20% of cases, there was increase of temperature to 37.5, 38 degrees, but it didn't last more than 2 days. So respectively, the results were very good. On the basis of that, the results were published in Lancet Journal last autumn, and the third phase of clinical trials were launched with 34,000 people participating, and people between 18 and 60-year-old and elderly population participating. So 1/6 of all the people were above 60-year-old. and efficacy levels were confirmed on all those groups, above 91%. So that's a brief information. We would be glad to answer questions. Just for the future, we will also introduce the new vaccines in the middle of the year, Sputnik Light, which will be based only on the first injection, that will provide immunity for the first 6 months. It will be easier to administer. There will be also joint product, maybe with AstraZeneca, which will increase their efficacy, but will provide us opportunity to increase their capacities. First injection from our side, second from AstraZeneca, but we are looking forward for the results of the trials on all these 2 new vaccines, and that will be available later on in the year. But right now, we are glad to present the registered vaccine in more than 55 countries, including Philippines, which has proven its efficacy and immunogenicity and safety in many millions of massive vaccination in different countries, in many millions of people who are massively vaccinated in different countries. And we would be glad to provide this vaccine to the people of Philippines to help to resolve the problem of coronavirus. Thank you very much for your attention. Myself and my colleagues will be glad to answer the questions and to proceed accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much, Vladimir. May we also request Fedor to say a few words and also to update our friends in the local governments a little bit about our efforts on the supply agreements. Fedor, you have the floor. Are you here? Is he with us?
We will call him in just a second.
Okay. So so while we're waiting for him, maybe we can also ask Sergey to say something, right? It's his first time to meet all our friends in the local government units.
Madam Olivia, thank you very much for organizing this meeting. It's very important for us to meet in person all those people and friends with whom we'll be working in the coming months on the supplements of the Russian vaccine. Thank you, colleagues, everyone, for your trust in the Russian vaccine. We have been working with Philippine FDA for the last several months to submit all the documentation and to show the efficacy and strong results of the vaccine, which have been demonstrated not only in Russia, but in a number of countries around the world. And we are now here together with my team to develop the best strategy to supply the vaccine in the coming months and to cover all the aspects, including legal, logistics, and all other things. So I believe that at this stage, Olivia will be the key contact person for coordinating all those things. But if you need any urgent information on logistics, storage, or whatever, we'll be all available to support you to give all necessary information. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Sergey. Now, I think Fedor is ready. Fedor, can you update our friends in the local government?
Sorry, Olivia, he's being contacted by the minister, and he will be join. She will join us. So
Okay.
he just joined us. Yes.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. Apologies.
Вопрос по контракту там был, по прогрессу нашего контракта, да, Оливия.
The contract is currently reviewed by our legal. We've seen the changes. We believe that we will be able to come back with our markup on the contract today or over the weekend, the latest, and you will be able to process it. Today is a Thursday, yeah. So today or tomorrow, the latest, and we will be able to conclude that pretty soon.
Fedor, could you also share with them the prioritization on the distribution of supplies, right? Like as we discussed with Secretary Galvez, remember? Yes, could you also share it with them?
Well, Philippines for us is long-awaited geography to start supplies of the vaccine. And as the CEO of RDIF publicly announced, we are aiming to start first supplies during the first half of April. That's our focus. We usually, in our past, we usually do first batch, let's call it pilot batch, relatively small, to check all the logistics and documentary procedures, so we don't find ourselves in a difficult situation with a bigger batch. And once everything goes smooth, we will start ramping up the total amount of supplies to Philippines as much as possible. Our general strategic goal is, with all geographies we work, is to be able to cover 30% of the population of each country. So we will be aiming to, in the long run, to achieve 30 million treatments of supply to the Philippines. While at the beginning, during the first several months, our focus will be to provide 10 million treatments to your country.
Okay. Just to clarify, when they talk about treatments, is number of people, so that's ×2, right, Fedor? That's what we mean, right?
That's correct. Treatment means 2 doses, component 1 and component 2.
Okay. So aside from that, but we would also like to introduce another member of the team, who we invited today. He's Dr. Francis Abrantes, and he is our consultant virologist. So in case later you have like technical medical questions about the vaccine, he will help you and he will try to explain and answer all your queries. Dr. Francis, please say hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Assistant Professor Jose Francis Abrantes. I am a microbiologist by training. I specialized in virology and immunology. So anything you would like to ask regarding Sputnik V, you can ask me, because technically I know how the vaccine was developed. And well, if in case you need to ask how the techniques were used in the production of vaccine, you can also ask me for details a bit later. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Governor Dax. That's our presentation for today.
Okay, thank you very much, Olive. Before I proceed any further, I'd like to acknowledge a few more colleagues. We have Governor Bulot Bectang, who's joined us, Governor J.J. Romualdo, and the President of the League of Governors, Governor Presby Velasco. I understand you've already signed an NDA with the League of Provinces headed by Governor Velasco. We also have Mayor Eric Labrador, Mayor Eleanor Dominguez, Mayor Catherine Robles, Mayor Junifer Roa, Mayor Maria Gina Lizares, Mayor Severo, Mayor Federanga, Mayor Villanueva, Mayor Roy Loyola, Mayor Escalante, Mayor Bangsin, and Mayor Lambino, and also Mayor Dante Torres and Vice Mayor Alfredo Pablo Garcia. So may I pose 2 quick questions? You may have answered and mentioned it already, but may I just ask for clarification? When can your vaccines be available soonest for the Philippine government?
Okay, Fedor, would you like to answer that? Or
Yeah, I just take this. In our practice, usually we provide the vaccine within 2 months after getting EUA and supply contract. We currently in the process of like agreeing on supply contract. I think it will take around a week to finalize that, and first half of April is our goal to make the first shipment. And our CEO publicly announced that it's the goal coming from the top. So all of us are aiming for that timing.
So if it's mid-April, then best time frame would be mid-June for delivery. Is that correct?
No. Mid-April will be the first batch of vaccine flying to Philippines.
Oh, very soon. Thank you for that information. I'd like to hand over the floor to invite Governor Velasco. He might want to ask questions, or he might also want to share with everybody the status of the NDA that he signed. Gov Presley, you have the floor if you
Yeah,
have time.
thank you, Gov Dax, President Dax. Good afternoon to everybody. May we be clarified again as to the process by which we can buy your vaccines? First of all, we sign a letter of intent or term sheet. Is that correct?
Yes, Governor Velasco, you did sign a letter of intent. And if I may answer this question, Fedor,
Go
I
ahead.
hope
Yes,
you
please,
don't mind.
because
Okay.
our representative is Olivia, and she will handle us for us all logistics within Philippines. So yeah,
Yes.
thanks to Olivia.
Thank you. Go ahead, Olivia.
Yes, Governor. So we had a meeting with Secretary Galvez and the DOF and the DOH and all of them, and what they said is that for the national government we will have a bilateral agreement, and after that we can also supply to local governments, and we will have a tripartite agreement. So
Correct.
he said, as for deliveries, the priority should be the national government, and then whatever balance of the committed quantities by RDIF can be offered to the local governments. Now, according to the RDIF, their priority is really government, to supply to government. So our last priority will be the private companies. In fact, they would rather that we concentrate on government, right, Fedor? Is that correct? That is
That's
your
correct.
priority,
Well,
right?
we are first of all a government-owned fund, and that's why all G2G we prioritize all G2G relationship. Thus, it will be the priority for supplies, and as a next step, we will be open for further private relationships.
Okay.
Companies.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Olivia.
Yes. So what
Yes,
they
go ahead.
discuss is the committed volume of so the committed volume of RDIF, right, for the first quarter is 10 million treatments or 20 million doses. And Secretary Galvez said that half of that is for the national government. So there's about 5 million doses for the local governments. And that will be for the period from April until July. This is what we discussed during the last meeting. So there are some local government units already that sent us their initial orders. And so I guess what is important is for you also to provide us with the quantities that you require so that we can also prorate it, or you can decide amongst yourself how you would like to divide the remaining treatments that is being allocated by the national government to the local government based on the committed quantities of the RDIF.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, and then of course, as Fedor said, we're still, yes.
There was a
Yes.
mention before that there will be 10 million treatments or 20 million doses, right? And 50% of the 20 million doses will be reserved for the national government. So 10 million doses can be bought by the local government units or from our league. Some of our governors can buy the 10 million doses. Is that correct?
Yes, Governor Velasco, that is correct. But in terms of
Okay.
delivery, they said they're first, national first, and then the next batch, local government.
Okay. Since there are 81 governors, and since you have made known today that you have available doses of Gamaleya by mid of April, what we will do is we will ask the governors if they are intending to buy your vaccines, and we will inform you just what will be the quantities they will buy from you. That is what we will do, and of course that it all depend. That will all depend on the national government. If just how many vaccines they will allocate to us. Okay. Now, my question is also we first signed the letter of intent, and we will be giving to you the letter of intent, which will reflect the number of doses that our governors intend to buy. Okay, and then what's the procedure after that? We wait for the national government to inform us of the available supply to us. Is that what we will wait for? Is that what we will do? Wait for the instruction from the national government as to how many doses will be provided to our LGUs. For example, around the 10 governors will reserve, say, 2 million doses, right? So it's less than what will be provided to the local government units. Actually, there are many local government units, no? We have 146 cities, no, and they can purchase directly through the national government, no. They can buy these 146 cities, no, and the 81 provinces, any of them can also buy from you. We will just submit all this letter of intents to you and copy furnish the national government. Is that what we will do, Olivia?
Uh, Governor Velasco, actually, as far as I understand it from Secretary Galvez, if it's a question of if you're using your budget, you can go ahead and sign your tripartite agreement with the national government and us. You don't really have to wait for their approval. So what they're committing really is the 5 million treatments because that is as far as their budgets are concerned. So if the LGUs are using their own budgets, you have the the independence to decide for yourselves how much you would like to buy because the money is coming. The money that you will use to pay is coming from your own budget and not from the national government. So at least in terms of policy, it's quite clear now that we don't really have to ask permission from them for as long as we're not using their national budgets for the procurement of the vaccines. Now, how they distribute the 5 million treatments that they purchase using the national government's budget is up to them to whom they want to share the vaccines with or to distribute it to. But if you're buying, then you get your vaccines, based on what you purchase directly. So I think it's good news for the local governments that now we have this direction from the national government.
Okay, we will coordinate with the Secretary Charlie Galvez, no, regarding the number of vaccines that will be allocated to the different provincial governments. Is that okay?
Yes, but yes, sure. So what I we're also doing now is those local government units that gave us their letters of intent and indicated the quantities that they wish to purchase. We're also putting it together, and we will also submit it, by the way, to Secretary Galvez just to be for full disclosure, so that we're all on the same page and that we both, the national and the LGUs, and we know exactly how we're supposed to go about it. I think the coordination is very important so that we will have a smooth implementation of this vaccination program. Thank you.
Okay. The payment plan. When will the LGU start the payments? What is the amortization plan? Can you restate it?
The payment actually is indicated in the contract. Right now, we're still negotiating on the payment terms, no? So, but Secretary Galvez shared that there is also this proposed payment term. What he's proposing is 50%, 15% down payment, and then full payment before shipment. That is what he is proposing, because I think that is what the other vaccine manufacturers also adopted in terms of payment terms. So I don't know if Fedor and Vladimir will accept that proposal, but I think it's quite doable.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you repeat again how much is one treatment?
Yes, so that's 15%,
No, no, no.
15% up, pardon?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
15% upon sign. Sorry. Yes, sorry. So it's 15% upon signing of the agreement, and then 85% before shipment. Like, I don't know how many days before shipment. That is his proposed payment terms.
How much is one treatment? How much is the cost of one treatment?
The cost of the treatment is there's one pricing worldwide, so it's like a little less than $10 ex works, which means price at the plant. We still are waiting for the final FOB, logistics, freight, and insurance charges that will be added on to the cost of the ex works price, right? So that's about less than $20 per treatment. So it's one price worldwide. I mean, that's the same price they sell to all the countries worldwide.
Can you repeat that? It's $20 per treatment. So
Per treatment.
it's $10 per dose, right?
Yes, X works.
But
So
there
we
will
just
be
need to,
logistics.
excluding
there will be
logistics.
additional
Yes.
expenses, as you said a while ago. When will we be able to know the total price, which will be inclusive of all the other expenses?
Fedor, when do you think?
Well, we made preliminary calculation, and we expect that for Philippines, it will be less than $1 per dose. All these additional logistics and like documentary charges. The exact price may fluctuate a little bit depending on the size of the batch. If it is a bigger batch, sometimes it will be a bit less. If it is smaller batch, it could be a bit more. But we understand that it will be controlled below $1 per dose.
So let me be sure about this. The price will be for one dose will be less than $11. US, is that US?
Correct.
Right? Then
Correct.
US.
Yeah, US. So the like sort of CIF price will be less than $11 per dose.
Okay. Can this vaccine be used for senior citizens? Meaning to say, senior citizens in our country is 60 years old and above, up to 85, 90, whatever. Can we use this vaccine for senior citizens of the Philippines?
Would you like to answer?
For us, we have the study for 60 plus year old, and I believe we have provided it to Philippine regulator, and thus we believe that the vaccine can be used for senior citizens. With regards to how that, like, Philippines itself will make any like policy of limiting vaccine to certain type of people, I don't know. But what we can claim is the vaccine is suitable, and we have relevant studies to confirm that senior citizens can use the vaccine.
Yes. If I may add, Governor Velasco, our EUA states that our vaccine is good for 18 years and above. There is no restriction on the age. And maybe we can also ask our Dr. Francis to explain. He's read the clinical studies in greater detail. Maybe you can also share with us,
So
Dr.
regarding,
Francis.
so what is regarding Ma'am Olive?
The senior citizen, is it safe
Yeah.
for senior citizens?
Yeah, in the phase 3 clinical trial of Sputnik V, there are more than 2,000 subjects that were given to those subjects, and they were found to be safe. They are well tolerated with the results of the clinical trial. And at the same time also, they were able to gain a very high level of immune protection against SARS-CoV-2 virus. So that was the result of the phase 3 clinical trial.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Abrantes. That's all for me, President Dax. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you po, Governor Chairman Velasco. So
Thank you very much.
thank you also to our friends from the Gamaleya group. Okay, so are there any other questions for our friends? May I do some housekeeping? First, there are a lot of requests, Olive, on
Yes.
if people can get copies of your presentation. Is it going to be possible for you to share that presentation?
Yes, I think Aaron, can you explain how they can get a copy of the presentation?
If you are willing to share, our secretariat can post an attendance sign-up sheet in our chat group, and everybody who signs in there and registers their email may get copies. But we will respect your decision whether you will share it or not.
We can share it under NDA. If there is an NDA with a counterparty, you are free to share it through Madame Olivia.
Okay, so that clarifies it. Thank you for the answer, Fedor. For those who are very interested in the product and would like to get copies of their presentation, you must initiate an NDA agreement with their group so that they can send you materials that you will need.
Yes. Governor Dax, there is a question here that if we may read the question here in the chat box.
Sure,
It
go ahead.
asks, the procurement law only requires 30% down payment. So actually, what we're sharing is what Secretary Galvez shared. That is an existing payment term. And the beauty of working with RDIF is that it is also an instrumentality of government. And under the procurement law of 9165, if I'm not mistaken, as long as it's covered by an executive agreement, it is exempted from the required 30% down payment. Is that correct? Governor Velasco, we should ask our great legal minds here with us today.
Let's ask Governor Velasco.
Yes, what is the query, Olive?
Governor, sabi nila, the procurement law requires only 30% down payment. But we're saying that under the procurement law, if it is a government-to-government contract, if you have an executive agreement, we don't have to follow this restriction on down payments.
Yes, that's correct. The procurement law, the pertinent provision in the procurement law is deemed already amended by the Vaccination Program Act. So you can make a bigger down payment than 15%. But I heard a while ago that they will only be requiring 15%. No? So there is no deviation at all from the procurement law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Actually, the required payment term is really 50%, right? Sergey, is 50% down payment and then 50%. I think 15 days. But we're
Correct, yes.
negotiating on is that 50% down payment and 50% 15 days 15 days after shipment, right? Is it something like that?
Yes, I think it is 15 days or similar.
Yes, but what is being recommended is the 15%. This is by the Philippine side, 15% down payment, and then 85% prior to shipment. So we haven't decided yet which one. We're still negotiating between the Russian and the Philippine side. Yes, and then
Well,
yes.
if I may contribute a bit of information, in the COVID procurement, COVID vaccine procurement law recently signed by the president that Governor Velasco mentioned, LGUs will now be allowed to make advance payment of not more than 50%. So when you say advance payment, the succeeding payments after the first 50 must be after delivery. So that may be a problem if you will require 85% before shipment. So, but if it's delivered within the country, the local governments have a process of receiving. It doesn't have to be physically in their locality, but if there's a representative of the government that receives it, let's say in the Manila port, that may already suffice as to a non-advance payment mechanism. So you might want to look into that.
Okay, thank you very much, Governor Dax. Yes. So there are other questions here in the chat box. It's about comorbidities. How about those with comorbidities? Dr. Francis.
Yeah, Ma'am, how can I answer that question? In some of the participants in the phase 3 clinical trial, they have comorbidities and they have not seen any adverse reaction or adverse event during the time of the phase 3 clinical trial. And so therefore, they come up to a conclusion that it's safe for patients, or rather, from individuals who have comorbidities. Okay, but it should be those comorbidities should also have their own therapeutic intervention so that the vaccine will be effective in that kind of condition.
Okay. So, and then there's also a question on variants. Do we have information on variants?
I would ask my Russian counterpart to answer this. I heard already that Gamaleya is going to publish a scientific report on the variants. Can you please give light on that, sir?
Yes, I on that, I would say that Gamaleya is regularly purchasing new strains of coronavirus and performs tests on it. And I know that they are currently doing experiments and tests on new strains from South Africa and Great Britain. With regards to actual time, and they will be publishing the results of their tests. I just do not have exact date when it will be done. but it is indeed in process, and that's the goal, to have Sputnik V tests against all major strains of coronavirus.
Okay. So there's also a question here. So I'm sorry, I have to go back to the contract, right? It says that they said that I mentioned something about for as long as the LGU has their budget, they can sign the agreement. Yes, but this will be under a tripartite agreement. So the LGUs will still be signing with the NTF, with the national government, and the RDIF. So we still really have to go through that process. So you cannot just sign your contract with us, with the RDIF. It will always be with the national government, just to clarify. Yes. That's all, Governor Dax.
Thank you. There are a couple more. They were asking what is the interval between the first and the second dose, and did we hear correct that there's a possibility that Sputnik V can be the second dose for AstraZeneca, or is it the other way around, or is it not recommended? Can you please enlighten us further?
For the timing, there should be at least 21 days between the two doses. Like it can be more, and even more is not a problem. We generally, and Gamaleya generally suggest that the period be between 21 to 60 days. With regards to AstraZeneca, it's we are currently performing studies for the partnership between Gamaleya, RDIF, and AstraZeneca. But these studies are not completed yet. So we don't have any, let's say, proper research backup to make any suggestions with regards to that. So it's the combination is the plan in some future, not currently.
Thank you for that. I think there's another question on the preparation of your vaccine. Per vial, how many doses will be contained in it? Is it one dose per vial or several doses per vial? And how many ml required per dose? This is quite an advanced question, but somebody would like.
We have like I think even the Generium site, which is approved at Philippines, other sites have different fill and finish facilities, and most common are 5 doses per vial, or 1 dose in ampule in a box of 5 ampules. So it either comes to like the small pack is 5 ampules, 1 dose per ampule, 5 ampules per box, or 5 doses per vial. The dosage of each dose is 0.5 milliliters, and so the vial, if it's 5 doses, is 3 milliliters. So there is like a little bit extra in a vial. In ampule, that's exactly 0.5 milliliters per ampule.
Yes, Fedor, we are not, we didn't submit the ampule size to for registration. So what we're supplying to the Philippines will be the 3 ml vials containing 5 doses.
Okay, understood. We will, like, then I would just say, going forward, subject to availability, we can make an update to FDA in case we really need. We have that in some countries where we do an update, and usually it takes some time, but to have the flexibility, we can consider that additional update to FDA.
Okay. And that's all the questions that I've seen in the chat box for now. Is there anyone who would like to be recognized to directly ask questions? Kindly raise your hand through the Zoom application if you have any questions. Okay, Olive, I think we're good for now.
Okay, thank you very much. So thank you very much, Governor Dax,
Thanks a
Governor
lot.
Velasco. Thank you everyone for hearing us out today, and we look forward to be part of your vaccination program in all your municipalities. Thank you. And Sergey, maybe you have some closing.
Thanks, everyone.
Colleagues,
Yeah,
colleagues,
and
thank you
Fedor?
very much. Colleagues, thank you very much. It's a great chance to meet in person, and let's keep in touch. And many thanks to Madame Olivia for organizing this and coordinating all our efforts on this important project.
Yes, and Fedor, before we leave.
Thanks very much. We are very happy to see such a large forum of people interested in our vaccine. Thanks for your interest, and thanks everyone for your support in us getting the FDA, and special thank you to Madame Olivia on that and her team. And we hope we will start supplies as soon as possible to help the people of the Philippines.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. And Olive, may I suggest that let's request everyone to sign up in the attendance sheet and leave their emails, and we will ask your representative to send copies of your draft NDA so that if they're interested, they can reach out to you with their preparation for the NDA, and you can move forward from there.
Okay, so we will wait for this list from our executive director, right? Bernie Sayo. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Keep safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Dr. Presley. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.